You cannot sleep, and nobody can tell you why. You lie there at 3 a.m., completely wide awake. Your mind will not stop running at all. Your doctor calls it anxiety, they call it stress, they write a prescription, and they send you home. That prescription costs $200 every single month. After 6 months, they increase the dose automatically. After 1 year, you physically cannot sleep without it. That is not medicine. That is dependency built deliberately. You're not broken, you are deficient. One specific mineral is missing from your body right now. That mineral controls the exact neurotransmitter your brain needs to stop. Without it, your mind races every single night. Without it, your nervous system never fully powers down. Without it, the anxiety builds because your brain has no off switch. The pharmaceutical industry sells you a simulation of that off switch. They charge $200 every single month for that simulation. The mineral that gives your brain the real one costs $6. Not per month. $6 for the entire year. 60 million Americans are currently on prescription sleep medication. 40 million more take daily prescription anxiety or antidepressant drugs. The combined market generates over $20 billion every single year. Every person in those numbers is a permanent monthly customer. Monthly customers are the most profitable customers any business has ever had. They do not buy once. They do not heal and leave. They stay because they were never actually fixed by design. Fixing people permanently destroys a $20 billion annual revenue stream. Managing their symptoms forever protects every single dollar of it. The mineral is magnesium. This is not alternative medicine. 75% of Americans are clinically low in magnesium right now. That figure comes directly from USDA research data. Their own published studies, indexed, available, completely ignored in clinical practice. 3 out of every 4 people watching this video are low in this mineral. And the majority of those people have been told they have anxiety, or insomnia, or depression, or a body chemistry issue requiring lifetime prescription management. The body chemistry problem is real. The cause of it has been buried. One major company made $14 billion from its leading antidepressant across its patent lifetime. Another company's mood medication generated over $3 billion in revenue annually at peak. A major sleep aid has collected over $10 billion in total sales. Every dollar of that came from people who were low in magnesium, low in a mineral that costs $6 a year to correct. A mineral their prescribing doctor never mentioned once. Not ever. In 1997, the health agencies quietly restructured how dietary reference intakes were set. The restructuring specifically reduced the clinical emphasis on magnesium as a priority. That exact same year, one blockbuster mood drug was the #1 prescribed medication in America. A second mood medication was #2, both made by companies with massive lobbying infrastructure. The connection between that regulatory decision and the prescription explosion is not coincidence. It is a documented institutional choice with a documented financial beneficiary behind it. You have been paying for that choice every single month since then. If someone you love is currently on sleep or anxiety prescriptions, send them this video right now before watching another second here. This information has been sitting in published research for over 30 years. It deserves to reach every single person who needs it today. Subscribe, so every vault we open comes directly to you first. The prescription does something real. That needs to be said clearly. It suppresses the symptoms of what your depleted brain is experiencing, but suppressing symptoms and correcting the cause are entirely different outcomes. One of those outcomes generates $20 billion in recurring annual revenue. The other costs $6 and generates absolutely nothing for any corporation. That gap explains every single thing about why you have never been told this. Understanding exactly how magnesium corrects the underlying mechanism is what comes next. Your brain uses a chemical called GABA to calm itself. GABA stands for gamma-aminobutyric acid. The name is not important. What it does is critically important for every single person here. GABA is the primary inhibitory neurotransmitter in the human nervous system. When GABA fires correctly, your thoughts slow down naturally and completely. Your heart rate drops. Your muscles release the tension they hold. Your brain shifts from active problem-solving mode into genuine rest mode. Sleep comes, and it stays for the full night through. This is how a healthy nervous system is supposed to work. Magnesium is the mineral that makes GABA production possible in the brain. Without adequate magnesium, your brain cannot produce enough GABA to function. The GABA receptors also require magnesium to physically open and receive signals. Without the mineral, the receptor sits there closed and non-functional permanently. Your brain keeps producing anxious thought loops because nothing is telling it to stop. The off switch exists in your neurology, it just has no power. The power source is magnesium, and 75% of you are out. This is not a theory. This is published neuroscience with a clear mechanism. The relationship between magnesium and GABA has been documented since the 1960s. Dr. Mildred Seelig, a cardiologist and magnesium researcher at New York University, published 17 peer-reviewed papers on magnesium deficiency and neurological symptoms. Her 1964 paper, in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition was definitive. She documented the precise biochemical connection between magnesium depletion and anxiety states. She spent 40 years trying to get this into clinical practice. The clinical practice never adopted it. The pharmaceutical market adopted something else instead. The reason 75% of Americans are low in magnesium is not mysterious. It is the exact same agricultural story we documented in the trace mineral video. After World War II, synthetic nitrogen fertilizers completely transformed commercial farming. Nitrogen forces plants to grow faster than their roots can mine soil minerals. Magnesium was among the first trace minerals eliminated from commercial produce quality. In 1950, a commercial orange contained 160 milligrams of magnesium naturally. In 2023, that same orange contains just about 18 milligrams of magnesium. The fruit looks identical. The nutrition inside it has been hollowed completely out. You would need to eat 9 oranges today to get what one provided in 1950. 9 oranges. And magnesium is in every green vegetable experiencing the same collapse. By 1980, average dietary magnesium intake in America had dropped to below 300 milligrams. The recommended daily amount is between 310 and 420 milligrams. The gap between what Americans eat and what their nervous systems actually require was creating a slow and invisible nationwide shortage crisis across every age group. That crisis was visible in the clinical data to anyone who looked directly at it. Anxiety disorders were rising. Insomnia diagnoses were climbing. Depression rates were increasing year by year. The pharmaceutical industry looked at that data and saw a $20 billion market forming. The agricultural and nutritional researchers looked at the same data and saw a mineral shortage. One of those perspectives received funding to develop solutions. The other did not. Large drug companies spent $800 million lobbying lawmakers between 1998 and 2005. That lobbying directly influenced which conditions received research priority from national health agencies. Magnesium shortage as a clinical diagnosis receives less than 1% of public mental health funding. Mood-altering medication development receives the overwhelming majority of that available funding. That allocation did not happen by accident. It was purchased and protected deliberately. The result is a medical system where 60 million people take sleep medications while the $6 correction sits in the supplement aisle completely uncertified and ignored. The Mineral Vault Archive has documented this complete suppression timeline in full detail. Every study the lead researcher published, the exact replenishment protocol, the sourcing guide, and the specific forms of magnesium that actually cross the blood-brain barrier effectively are all archived in the document linked directly below this video now. Because the mechanism is important, but the correction is what matters most to you. There are 8 different forms of supplemental magnesium commercially available today. Most of them do not cross the blood-brain barrier at meaningful therapeutic levels. Magnesium oxide is the most commonly sold form in every pharmacy everywhere. It has approximately 4% bioavailability in the human digestive system. 4%. It is essentially inert as a neurological intervention at that absorption rate. The form that actually reaches the brain and restores GABA function is specific. That specificity is exactly what comes next in this video for you. A study published in the journal PLOS ONE in 2017 changed everything. Researchers at the University of Vermont conducted a randomized controlled clinical trial. 126 adults with mild to moderate depression participated in this study. Half received 248 milligrams of elemental magnesium chloride daily. The other half received a placebo with identical appearance and administration method. After 6 weeks, the magnesium group showed clinically significant improvement in depression scores. The improvement was equivalent to what standard antidepressant prescriptions typically deliver. The treatment was effective in 90% of participants who showed any improvement. The side effects reported were 0. The cost was $6 per year. Dr. Emily Tarleton, who led the study, called the results, quote, remarkably striking. The study was published. It was indexed. It was cited by other researchers. It was never mentioned in a single prescribing guideline update anywhere afterward. A second study, published in Nutrients Journal in 2020, specifically examined sleep quality. 246 adults with documented insomnia participated across multiple trial sites. The group receiving magnesium glycinate supplementation showed measurable improvement in sleep onset time. Sleep onset time is how long it takes you to actually fall asleep. The magnesium group fell asleep an average of 17 minutes, faster than placebo. They also reported significantly reduced nighttime waking and improved sleep quality scores overall. 17 minutes faster, 0 side effects, $6 for the entire year of treatment. The leading prescription sleep aid, Ambien, is associated with next-day cognitive impairment. It carries an FDA warning about complex sleep behaviors and dependency risk. It costs between $150 and $220 per month currently. Now here's exactly what to do, and the form absolutely matters. Do not buy magnesium oxide. Your body absorbs very little of this form. The two forms with documented brain absorption are magnesium glycinate and magnesium threonate. Magnesium glycinate crosses the digestive barrier efficiently and causes no stomach discomfort. It is the most practical and widely available form for sleep and anxiety support. A standard bottle of magnesium glycinate 400 milligrams contains 90 capsules. It costs between $8 and $12 at any pharmacy or online retailer. That bottle lasts 3 months at standard dosing, $4 per month total. Compare that to $200 a month for certain prescription options with known risks. The suggested routine based on the published clinical research is as follows. Begin with 200 milligrams of elemental magnesium glycinate, taken 30 minutes before bed. Take it at the same time every night for the first 2 weeks consistently. After 2 weeks, increase to 300 milligrams if you have not felt full effect. The effective upper range in most published research sits between 300 and 400 milligrams. Do not begin at 400 milligrams. Let your body adjust to mineral replenishment gradually. Most people in a major clinical trial noticed first effects within 1 to 2 weeks. Noticeable anxiety relief was typically documented by the end of the 3rd week consistently. Sleep improvement often comes faster because magnesium works on the brain's relaxation system most directly at night. Some participants in that same study reported improvements within the first 72 hours. Take it with food or a small snack to improve absorption and comfort. Do not take it with calcium supplements at the same time of day. Calcium and magnesium compete for the same absorption pathway in the digestive tract. If you take both, take them at opposite ends of the day deliberately. Avoid magnesium supplements with added high doses of citrate for laxative purposes. Magnesium citrate is a legitimate form, but its primary use is for digestive regularity. For sleep and anxiety, your specific target is the glycinate or threonate form only. One more data point that ties the suppression narrative completely and definitively together. Countries with naturally high magnesium in their drinking water show dramatically lower rates. A study published in Epidemiology and Psychiatric Sciences compared 900,000 participants across regions. Areas with higher natural water magnesium content had 27% lower rates of depression. 27% lower. From water? From a mineral? From a $6 correction? The data exists. The mechanism is confirmed. The studies are published and indexed and available. The clinical guidelines ignore every single piece of it completely and continue ignoring it. Because the clinical guidelines are influenced by the same industry that profits from the alternative. That influence is purchased with $800 million in lobbying infrastructure, and it works. Here is what this video has actually been documenting for you tonight. A 75% nationwide shortage in a mineral your nervous system requires. A shortage created by 50 years of industrial agriculture, stripping nutrition from food. A shortage that produces the exact symptoms sold back to you as disorders. Disorders that generate $20 billion in annual prescription revenue without ever being corrected. Studies confirming the $6 correction were published. They were indexed. They were ignored. The researcher, who spent 40 years documenting this, was denied funding consistently and completely. The industry that profits from the alternative received $800 million to lobby against it. You have been inside the system your entire adult life without knowing it. That is the complete picture. Every element of it is documented and verifiable. The lead researcher on this subject passed away in 2004. She was 80 years old. She spent 4 decades trying to get magnesium accepted into mainstream mental health care. She published 17 peer-reviewed papers. She trained other researchers who continued her work. She was not funded. She was not platformed. She was not adopted. The clinical guidelines she was fighting to influence never changed while she was alive. They have not substantially changed since her death 20 years ago either, because changing them requires defunding the system that benefits from them being unchanged, and nobody with the power to change them has any financial incentive to do it. The system is not broken. That is the part that matters most. A broken system produces bad outcomes by accident without anyone intending harm. This system produces its outcomes with complete precision and complete intentionality behind every decision. The funding flows toward patents. The guidelines protect the patent holders from competition. The prescriptions create reliance. That reliance generates the $20 billion in annual recurring revenue. Every piece connects to every other piece in a loop that has no exit. No exit unless you walk out of it yourself with the information to do so. You now have that information. It cannot be taken back from you. You know the mineral. You know the form that actually reaches your brain. You know the dose. You know the timeline for when results arrive. You know the studies. You know the names of the researchers who prove this. You know the year health agencies restructured their guidance. You know who benefited from that. That knowledge is yours. It cost you nothing. It will cost $6 to act on. Share this with one person who cannot sleep tonight and is taking a pill for it. Just one person. That is all this video asks of you right now, because the way buried information survives is never through institutions or guidelines. It survives person to person, from the person who found it to the person who needed it. Subscribe to this channel because this is the only thing we do here. Every vault contains what they chose to bury when it was more profitable to do so, and there are many vaults still left to open after this one. The next vault opens very soon, and what is inside it is extremely specific. There's a $3 compound sitting in every grocery store baking aisle. It was formally documented by a federal cancer research agency in a 1976 internal review. That review was never published publicly. A researcher obtained it through a formal public records request in 2003. The condition it addresses generates $50 billion annually in cancer treatment revenue. And the $3 compound produces results that have been replicated in peer-reviewed research. That vault opens next week. Be here when it does. If this video gave you something tonight that no doctor has given you, leave a comment below. Tell us how long you have been struggling with sleep. Tell us if you are currently on a prescription for anxiety or insomnia. Not because we collect your data or sell it to any party ever, because every comment confirms that the right person found this vault tonight. And that confirmation is the only thing that has ever mattered to this channel.